Okay, so let's see, that's in good shape right there. Hey Frank, how's it going? I will be back in 2 seconds. I just need to go and relieve myself before I start the stream, so I'll be right back. Okay. Good girl, ma'am. Okay. I'm back. Kinda, sort of. Trying to make sure I got everything. Well, thanks, Frank. I appreciate you being here. We're gonna get started in about 3 minutes. And you caught us at a good time. We're gonna start the bonus dungeons today, the ones that were added in the GBA version. We'll get to the PSP version ones eventually, but not quite yet. I see you've already retweeted my stream notification. As usual, Frank, you have the fastest fingers on the known internet / tweet deck / Twitter, so I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see here. So this is in a good spot, I think. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Yeah, I saw on Twitter that you said you got it working. That's good. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, they're interesting little dungeons. I don't know if you want to do them entirely blind for your stream or if you want to stick around and kind of get yourself an idea of what they look like, but yeah, that's what we're going to be up to today. They added them in the GBA version. Earthgift Shrine, Hellfire Chasm, Lifespring Grotto, and Whisperwind Cove. So we're going to try to do the first 2 today. And then the PSP version added the Labyrinth of Time. So we're going to do that after we're done with the 4 that were added in the GBA version. So okay, sounds good, Frank. They're not terribly... Well, I mean, they're interesting. I don't know if they're incredibly so, but they're definitely a different twist on the game than what it had before this, so it'll be cool. It'll be cool. Yeah, those ones. Those are the ones we're going to do first. And then after that, once we're done with those 4, and you get to choose one of them. Yep, those are the ones. And then we're going to do the Labyrinth of Time, which is completely new to this version, after we're done with those. So it's probably going to be like 3-4 streams before we get to the one that's exclusive to the PSP version. Yeah, yep. So that's how that's going to go. And I am cheating a little bit. I have my phone here. It is off. The screen is off currently, but if I get totally lost on some of the floors for the GBA ones, I have a couple of maps that should help me out. I'm going to try to avoid using it, but I'm not going to hold myself to that. If I start getting super lost, I have no idea where I'm at. I'm going to be just like, okay, well, Oh, okay, that's how you get out of that. Okay, cool. But anyway, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Final Fantasy the Stream Edition. Last time, we basically dipped our feet right in front of the door to the final boss inside of the Chaos Shrine deep down near the bottom. But, as always with RPGs like this, when the world is in imminent peril and you're within striking distance of the final boss, that is automatically the best time to go back and do all of the side quests! So, we made a separate file from us getting out of the Chaos Shrine. And now we're going into Earthgift Shrine to see what we can find in there. The bonus dungeons feed pretty well into each other, and basically the stuff you get here will be helpful in the next one, and the next one, and the next one, so it should all be fine. But we're going to keep that one save file for the Chaos Shrine so that I can beat the game and beat the final boss without all of this extra gear, because as I said previously, it's too easy with all this extra gear. The game's already easy enough, so I'm going to try to make it easy enough for myself without making it even easier, making it even cheaper. I might... No, I won't break that. I was going to say, I might break that rule for one piece of equipment that I can get for Norn, either in this dungeon or the next one, but no, I'm not going to do that. So, let's go right in and see what we can find here. Now, the Earthgift Shrine is the first of the 4 bonus dungeons, and it has 5 floors. They are randomized in terms of the loot that you get, but you will see all 5 of the floors, just maybe in separate orders, like in a different order each time. This cave is one of 2, and then there's a forest and a desert, and then there's the final boss floor, where you can choose one of 4 bosses to fight and defeat. So let's see what we can find around here. I'm sure the treasure's going to be halfway decent. You can pretty much come here before you do the class change, so it's not really difficult. I'm probably going to make mincemeat out of most of the enemies here. Like, these black goblins are not even close to threatening. Like, Moira can kill them with the power staff, so I think we're fine. It's doubtful that they'll do very much damage at all to us. I forgot I gave Norn the mass immune last time, to be honest with you. Whoops. Yeah, black goblin. I think what they were going for in terms of that is that it was supposed to be closer to the design of the goblins that were in later games, I guess they said, or maybe it was like the original Goblin Guard or something were supposed to look like that, but they could have named them Dark Goblins. That would have been actually just as racist. Probably. Okay, so we're on the desert floor. I need to find trees so that I can get my bearings here. Okay, so here's the thing. These trees actually point in the direction, although it's roundabout, to where the oasis is. And once we find the oasis, we should be in better shape. But you don't want to stick around too long, because if you stick around in the desert area for too long, you could fight an Abyss Worm, which is kind of a hard enemy. At this point in the game, I can kill him with my physical attacks, so it's not a huge deal. I mean, as you can see, we're not getting very much EXP or gil for any of this stuff, so I may be a little too strong for this dungeon. Just a little bit. But yeah, once we find the oasis, there are treasures in the 3 out of the 4 cardinal directions from the oasis. So we're gonna find those, and then there's 3 that are there, and then there's 1 to the southwest of the oasis that we can also find. So we'll go check those out, see what we can see there. If I remember right, I don't think the forest has any treasure in it, but I could be wrong. Oops, I've gone down. There we go. We'll go check out what those trees that are over there are all about, just to see. Because there could be... Actually, maybe I should just keep going in the direction that I'm supposed to be going. The desert itself loops in on itself, so like if you stray off the beaten path and you end up going off in a different cardinal direction than you're supposed to be going, you can just loop your way back to the beginning anyway, so... Now, the way that I've decided I'm going to handle the bosses in this is that basically I'm going to save before I go into each boss room, because what Earth Gift Shrine essentially does is, after you fight one of the 4 bosses that you can fight at the very end, it kicks you out, and you have to go through it again and again and again in order to fight all the bosses. So you end up exploring about 20 floors, although most of those floors are the same because they're the same ones you've explored previously, just you're going through them again. So instead of doing that, I'm going to save before each fight. I'm going to fight that boss, and then I'm going to reset and go back and try fighting a different boss. Okay, here's the oasis. So we need to go north, then east, then south, and then southwest. Yeah, a little evil. Instead of giving into its evil ways, since we can save anywhere, I'm going to ensure that we can use that to our advantage and just fight all 4 of the bosses on this one quote-unquote run. We're not technically fighting all 4 bosses, we're only fighting 1, but I'm going to save before I fight each one, so that way we... essentially, we're getting away with not going through the dungeon 4 times. We're only going through it once. And I'm going to do the same for Hellfire Chasm and Lifespring Grotto. There's 2 bosses that you can fight on the 5th floor of Hellfire Chasm, and 2 bosses you can fight on the 10th floor. I will save and fight one boss, then the other over there, and then on Lifespring Grotto there's a choice of 2 bosses at the very end of the dungeon. And I think they're supposed to be, other than the PSP bonus boss, they're supposed to be like the hardest boss in the game. They're even harder than the final boss. They're probably about on par, from what I understand, with the War Mech that we could have fought in the Flying Fortress that we didn't see. So, instead of having to trek through 20 floors worth of dungeon again, I'm just going to save in front of both their rooms. I'll fight one, and then I'll fight the other, so that we can get through this in relatively quick order without having to do it a million times. Because that doesn't sound like my idea of a fun time. I think it's down here. These guys I think are a little dangerous too. I don't remember. But we'll find out if they die from one Blazara. They're probably not that dangerous. And it looks like they resisted the ow boy. Well, whatever their gaze is, it can probably turn you to stone. If I had to guess. But could be dangerous. That's probably why they give more money than the others. Where was that one that was straight south here? Maybe it was off to the left or right a little bit. Okay. I'm looking at my map. Hold on. Oh, it's supposed to be there, but it's not necessarily there. Okay, I see. So it can be right above those 3 trees that we had there, but it doesn't have to be. It's random which treasure chests are available in which part of the dungeon, so... Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the lava ones, to be honest with you. This one's not too bad once you find the oasis, but the lava ones are going to be a little cheeky, I think, to get through. That'll be coming up pretty shortly here, because this is one of the longest floors in this dungeon, and we're already practically done with it, so it's right over here, right? Let's see here. Slightly south. Okay. So we'll go slightly south and then this way. And there should be one over by this tree too, but it's not there. So, we'll go back here, we'll go straight up, and then we'll go from there. I'm really just trying to bait out the Abyss Worm, to be honest with you, but it's not really working in my favor. And I don't remember if I mentioned it before, but there was, if you get 100% Bestiary, and if you get all of the treasures in the game, including the... I'm not sure if it includes these random ones, but I would imagine it does. If you get all the treasures and 100% of your Bestiary complete, you unlock an art gallery for the game, which is like... Okay, it's an art gallery, like, come on. That's not really a good reward for going through the trouble of getting all these rare monsters to pop out. So, since we Won't be bothering to do that. We won't be looking at the art gallery, but I'm sure it's online somewhere. You can probably go Google it or something. Okay, so here's the other one that's kind of annoying, is this forest area. The enemies here aren't annoying. That's not the annoying part. The annoying part is the fact that there's a lot of branching paths here. It's easy to get lost, and sometimes you don't have to go to an area in order to proceed, but there's enemies in the way, so it makes it look like you have to go that way in order to proceed. And I believe, if I remember right, yeah, the exit is right there. So if it was just for, not for these trees, we could get out of here in 2 seconds, but yeah, not happening, unfortunately. So we'll just make our way through. So on top of the zombie enemies that you have to fight, there's also random encounters, so that's beautiful. Yeah, Desert Pete in the forest. Yeah, you'd think that they would change that around a little bit, but no, not quite. Maybe they wandered down the stairs after us. Yeah, so like right here, it looks like you can kind of get through, but you can't. You have to fight this guy first. I'm not even going to bother looking for the treasures, to be honest with you. Again, I don't know if there are any treasures on this floor. I guess I could look. Let's see. Nope, that's the desert. We're done with that one. Treasure. Oh, it's not down that way. There's one there, and one over by the stairway, I believe. Well, not that close to the stairway. I guess we could go get the treasures. They're not that far out of the way, I don't think. How many extra enemies do I got to kill to get to them? 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, it looks like. Okay. That I can do, but there's not one up there, so we're just gonna avoid that altogether. Yeah, we'll just keep doing this. I'm just gonna mash the A button all the way through this dungeon real quick. Hope nobody minds. Or mash the X button, as it were. Since I'm using a PS4 controller. So not to pry into the back behind the scenes stuff for your playthrough there, Frank, but did you decide what party you're going to be using for the game? Are you just going to go with the old standby, you think, or are you going to switch it up a little bit? Just curious. Not that way. Do what you're used to the most. Okay, that makes sense. That's pretty much what I did with this one too. So I understand where you're coming from with that. Warrior Monk, Dark Mage Cleric. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna probably switch it up myself though when I get to Final Fantasy V, which I don't know if we're gonna get to that this year. That might be a next year job, but in July of each year there's a fundraising thing, a charity thing for, I think it's cancer awareness. I can't remember who they donate to, but it's for, it's called the 4-Job Fiesta, and basically you play through Final Fantasy V and you tweet at Gilgabot, which is a Gilgamesh botted Twitter account, and he assigns you 4 classes that you have to use going through the game, and basically once you win, you post a screenshot showing that you got through. And there's, like I said, there's donations, there's charity events that go on, and it goes on for like a month or a month and a half. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this year, next year, what's going to happen with it, but it's, yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good time. Hopefully I don't get like 3 berserkers and a frickin', I don't know, Beastmaster or something, because that would be awful. But, yeah. We'll make do with what we get. Kind of hoping for a Dragoon, or not a Dragoon, a ninja that gets the jump command, because that's a fun time. With twin lances, it's a powerful combination, but we'll use what we get in that case. And that will, make things more interesting, because I've been through Final Fantasy V enough times that it's not that it's like super easy or anything for me, because there's still difficulty, but I don't think it would be as interesting as challenging myself and putting myself outside of my comfort zone. So yeah, you could do pretty fine in this game with 3 warriors and a white mage. That's as long as you have the extra healing, you're pretty much fine. It's when you take out white mages and you start doing the bonus dungeons when you start having a little difficulty, because the best AoE healing you have going into the Lifespring Grotto is the healing staff. I mean, you could get Curaga for your red mages, but other than that, you pretty much have to rely on like high potions and X potions and all that to do the work for you. And sometimes that's a little difficult, but let's see, where am I going from here? Straight up. But yeah, you could get through the game with pretty much any combination. It's just a matter of how much grinding you have to do to get there. Me, personally, I'm all about as little grinding as I can possibly do. So, team like this works perfectly well for me, because there's very little, if any, grinding involved to get through the game. And once you get to a certain point, you can basically do what I've been doing the entire time here for all of the let's see, we gotta go this way to go ahead, so we want to go up this way to get a treasure, potentially. You basically do this, which is just mashing through battles when you get to a certain point. This will be less of a thing that we're going to be able to do later on, though. Once we start getting into the later floors of Hellfire Chasm and into Lifespring Grotto, the enemies start getting a little bit trickier to deal with, so we won't be able to do that much here. Yeah, it's pretty much just X button mashing, because that's all they can do until they class change. It's just a matter of outfitting them and equipping them with the best gear possible. That might take some grinding, I think, because you have to buy some of the most expensive stuff in the game just to get them outfitted. Or you could just not do that for the extra challenge. That would be something that I would probably do. Is just use what I have, basically. Like, if I find it in a dungeon, here, warrior, you can have this. I'm not buying you anything. But, yeah. Honestly, though, Frank, I think I'd be more interested and intrigued to see you play, was that the game you could equip 2 weapons to the warriors? That was Final Fantasy III, I think, that you're thinking of. The one for the DS, where you could equip 2 weapons and they could use the advance command. The one that I'm thinking of, you can only equip that to them if you give the class the dual wield skill. So that one's a little later in the series. It's after Final Fantasy IV. So you're thinking of 3. And I'll play that one eventually, too. I'm torn on which version of that game I'm going to be playing. I don't know if I should just go with the old standby, the NES version with an English translation, or if I should go with the PSP version is available for that one. It was quietly released to the public in 2012, so I might do that version just so I can use the same emulator as I used for Final Fantasy 1 and 2. But I was going to say, Frank, yeah, I'd be kind of interested to see your take on Final Fantasy 2, because maybe you should wait, though, to do Final Fantasy 2 until after I've done it, so that you can see the mechanics of it and how... Because I get way too in-depth with Final Fantasy 2's mechanics. Like, I know more about it than probably anybody has any right knowing about. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'd be interested to see your take on Final Fantasy II, the other game on the Dawn of Souls cartridge, which was... A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like the fact that that one is very grind-heavy, and I use that in air quotes because it's not grind-heavy. You just need to know what to equip properly to not make the game grinding. Really infuriating? Yeah. Just let me enlighten you, Frank, with the proper method of playing Final Fantasy II first. Basically, if you're going to have somebody casting offensive magic, put them in the back row. If you're going to have someone using physical attacks primarily, put them in the front row and give them a shield. Only ever use self buffs on one single target. Never use it on multiple. And don't use the blood sword because that's for scrubs. But other than that, that's the basic gist of my advice for the whole game, really, is if you're going to make a character melee, make sure that they have a shield. It doesn't matter what weapon they use, but they got to have a shield. And if you're going to have them cast magic, put them in the back row. Just simple as that. Never take them out of the back row. I don't care if they have low HP. I don't care if anything. The most HP that any character needs to survive any given attack in Final Fantasy II in the back row is like 600 or 700 HP. So, yeah, man, that'd be cool. Like, maybe for the first few like sessions or something of you playing Final Fantasy II, we could even do it like together if you wanted to. I could play it while you're playing it or something like that, but I could kind of give an explanation, not so super detailed, but maybe like a more in-depth explanation than some people are aware of how the game's mechanics work. It's all guesswork on my part, to be completely honest with you. I'm not a coder. I have no idea how to mine the game for data or anything like that, but I've done enough tests to know some things basically from enough repeated use of it. Yeah, I think it'd be fun, man. We should give that a shot. Not yet though, obviously, because I'm gonna be Final Fantasied out after I'm done with this one for a little while, and I'm sure you'll be Final Fantasied out when you're done with your Final Fantasy 1 playthrough. But just let me know. Just let me know when you're getting an inkling to play something that infuriated you so that you could totally destroy it and avenge your childhood. Because that's how it happened with me. I played this game a lot when I was younger on the GBA version. It wasn't really my childhood, though. I was like 13, 14 at the time, and I remember Final Fantasy II and absolutely hating it, like despising it. I was like, how could they produce a game so awful as this? Couldn't get through it without cheating. Be completely honest and upfront about that. I could not get through Final Fantasy II without cheating. Then I said, I'm going to learn whatever I can about this so I can get through it without cheating, and I just tested things to see what worked and what didn't. Eventually learned some of the mechanics, and I was like, okay, well, I could probably get through this. And now I know way too much about it, so... Yeah. So that's cool, man. Just, like I said, we'll save it for a rainy day or something when we're both feeling a little masochistic, and a little bit, when we're feeling better about playing Final Fantasy again after these playthroughs. Oh, actually, that reminds me, I have a couple of announcements that I have to make real quick here, because there was I got a couple of new followers that, in the in-between time since the last time I streamed, and on top of that, I also have to mention a couple of things here. Let's see. So, Matriotics followed a couple of days ago. Thank you for following. I appreciate it. And then PureX Waifu actually followed earlier today, so thank you for following, both of you guys. I appreciate it. On top of that, I also have to announce that, well, I don't know if there's Ichigo8691 who's followed me. He mentioned on the very first recording of this, he asked if I had tried Final Fantasy XIV. I have tried it, but I have not played it very much. But I decided, and hopefully this is okay with him, just let me know if you're watching this, I added Final Fantasy XIV to my list of suggested games. So eventually I wanted to play it, but now I'll get to it earlier than I would have because it's suggested by a viewer. So yeah, that's another game that's added to the suggested list. So, hi Garrick, how's it going? Frank here, hang on, I didn't see what you said there. Hold up. Yeah, well, we're gonna try to not suffer too terribly much when we go through that. It might be some slight suffering, but hopefully it won't be too bad for you. I'll try to keep it as painless as possible. So yeah, eventually we'll get to Final Fantasy XIV there. Not yet. I'm still working on all the rest of the playthroughs there, but it's if it sounds interesting, and it's not directly after this, because I'm probably not going to do it directly after this, we'll get to that too. And I don't know how I'm going to structure that yet, but we'll figure it out. That silver apple that we got, it increases HP by max HP by 5. So I'm going to give that to Sid, because he could probably use it. 2 directions to go here. Which one is best? I got no idea. If I find the stairs, I'll go back. Anyway, yeah, so extra suggestions for the streams there. Oops, where's the... Oh, here it is. Okay. So I appreciate the suggestion, even if I'm not really sure if it was a suggestion. But yeah, Ichigo, just if you're watching this, just let me know if you would rather suggest something else, and I'll switch it for you there onto the list. And Frank, while you're here, if you would like to suggest a game that you'd like to see me play, I have a list of suggested games on a Google document that I'm keeping, and basically, in between, I alternate. So I'll play a game that I want to play, and then a game that the viewers have suggested for me. So if there's a game you'd like to see me stream, let me know. I'll add it to the list, and then if it sounds interesting after I play a game that I'd like to play, then I'll go play it. It might be a little while before I get to it, because I have like 6 games that are already on the list. So yeah, I have more suggestions than viewers. Yes, exactly, Garrick. But Fire Emblems or Golden Sun. Okay, well you can only pick one per thing right now. So once I get to your playthrough, you can choose one again. But you got to pick one for me, Frank. So any Fire Emblem that isn't the Sacred Stones, Heroes of Light and Shadow, Awakening, Fates, that's it, I think, or Fates, will be blind for me, so those will be fun. And Golden Sun, although I have a cool remix of it on my channel's music list, Golden Sun would also be blind for me, so that would be a first-time thing. So you let me know, Frank, which one you'd like to see me play. I'll put it on the list, and then once we get to it, I'll let you know. Oh, right, let's go to the left side there. Yeah, yep. Golden Sun, okay. Alright, I'll add it to the list as soon as I'm done playing today, Frank. And that will be a completely blind LP. I will not look up anything about it. The only thing I know about it is that one picture that I tweeted to you of one time where the one person was casting an ice spell or something. And that was taken completely out of context. I literally just Google searched that, so I don't know what it was from, but we'll play it blind. I'm looking forward to it. I've heard good things about it, but I've never had a chance to check it out, so this will give me a chance to check it out a little bit quicker than I normally would there. This is the basement 4th floor, right? So we're almost to the bosses, and then we can move on once we're done with those. I haven't used a single point of MP since I got in here. That is sad, game. I know I'm supposed to take this on about like 30 levels ago, but come on. You gotta do better than that. Well, they ambushed me, so at least they're trying. That being said, with the whole suggestions thing, I may have to break that rule ever so slightly coming up, and I've mentioned this before, but the servers for Demon's Souls are closing off on February 28th, so I'm probably going to play that as the next game that I play, because this game's going to take like probably 4 more streams after this one to be finished with completely, and that'll give me a solid month and a half to do stuff in Demon's Souls. But once I do that, I will be sure to go back and play 2 viewer suggestions in a row. So 2 people on the suggested list will get their games played after Demon's Souls is done, and then I'll pick something I like again and we'll start alternating again. I may sometimes have to break my own alternating schedule there because of certain unforeseen circumstances, but I'm going to try to keep that at a minimum, and I'm just going to try to keep alternating because I like the alternation. Is that even a word? the alternating between the games there. It keeps me on my toes and gets me outside of my comfort zone a little bit. And that's cool. I like that. Okay, so this is the 5th basement floor of the Earth Gift Shrine. So what we're going to do is we're going to save it here. And basically, I'm going to go ahead and find each of the bosses on this floor. There's 4 of them. And then after that, they kick you out of the dungeon after you fight one of them. Now, there's a specific boss that I want to fight last, and I believe he's in the top right-hand corner of the room. But we're going to fight the bosses in the bottom left and bottom right first before we do that. And you can exit there afterwards, but once you fight them, I don't think you can exit the room anymore. So just make sure you know who you're going to fight before you go do it. So let's give this a shot, shall we? I don't know who this is, so I don't know if I should do a voice for them. I guess I could. So you've managed to reach these depths. I commend you. But your journey ends here, I'm afraid. Ah, Cerberus. Gotcha. Listen to that sweet music to my ears! This was not in the GBA version. In the GBA version, they didn't have remixes for all of the themes of the bosses from the games that they come from. So the bosses in Earthgift Shrine are from Final Fantasy III, and they remixed Final Fantasy III's fantastic boss theme with this awesome rock remix in the background. It's so good. I love it. Oh my god. All right, let's do what we usually do for these types of bosses. This guy's gonna go down super quick though, because he's, like I said, you can do this before you do the class changing stuff. So normal strategy, temper, haste, saber, and go from there. I'm gonna shut up for a second so you can listen to the boss music. Hold on. Turn it up a little. Oh wow, that actually hurt. Holy shit. So good. So freaking good. There we go. I love it. And I didn't know going into this playthrough that they remixed this, so that's pretty cool. But it's fantastic, and I love it. I looked it up in the midst of the playthrough. I was like, I was looking up the bonus bosses to see if anything was changed for a couple of things, and it turns out there was a change. As it turns out, they did some cool remixing here, so that's fantastic. I love it. Okay, so let's start attacking, and we don't need to worry about Thunderbolt. We'll just keep spamming Hilaga, and we'll be fine. Yeah, like I said, he's not going to last long. I was expecting him to die right there, but, you know, with Protera and Invisera on us, it's really not too bad. If you do this before the class change, it might be a little bit trickier to deal with, but it shouldn't be too terrible for you. He's got, I think, like 5,000 HP. Most of the bosses here do. Oh yeah, they're a little different in the English version here. Yeah, they changed it up, I think, from other versions. I don't remember if it's still Pearl Holy, that is, in other languages or not, but there's a lot of spells, Frank. There's a lot of spells, so I have to get used to it again. Alright, and we got the drop item for him. We got the Kotetsu, which is a good weapon for your ninja. Now, I think if you try to get out, yeah, see, you can't get out anymore, so you have to exit the dungeon in order to get going there from here. Yeah. I don't really... unfortunately, Frank, I took French in high school instead of Spanish, and I kick myself every day for it because I could use Spanish a lot more than I could use French, so I'm not sure I can help you with that one. Okay, how do I reset this emulator? Hold up a sec. I wonder if this is gonna like majorly F with my thing here. Let's see. No. Reset. Here we go. So that was Cerberus. And coming up next is whatever's in the bottom right-hand corner there. Probably should have given Cerberus a different voice there, but I didn't know which one it was. I think I know who this one is, though. We're gonna see. Alright, next one. You've done well to come this far, but you will go no further. I think it's this one. Oh no, not quite. That's a woman. Never mind. I thought it was the two-headed dragon, but it turns out it was Echidna. Shit. Anyway. Okay, well, I guess that makes sense. They took some creative liberties, I think, with the spell names here. Honestly, it'd be a little bit easier if they kept, like, you know, heal 1, heal 2, heal 3, all of that stuff. But I get why they didn't do that, so. It's okay. Let's get Invisora going, actually, instead. So this is Echidna, the second of the, basically all of the enemies that you fight here for the Final Fantasy III bosses. They're the Dark Crystal enemies that you fight in Final Fantasy III. And Echidna is the second of the 4, so. Oh, it's the same in Dragon Quest VIII? Okay. That's another game, Frank, and I'm sure you're going to kick yourself here, but that's another game I would be going into completely blind. I have not played Dragon Quest VIII either, so. And then we'll get Protera going. The big thing with Echidna is that because she's attached to the wall like that, she can use Quake to... in Final Fantasy III, Quake was a non-elemental damaging spell, and it was really good, but... yeah, that's going to probably be your next suggestion. Just keep that in mind for next time, because that'll be another game that that's another game that I want to look at that I just haven't had time to get to just yet. Oh, okay. Well, she's dead already. But yeah, she can use Quake. In Final Fantasy III, it was good because it was a non-elemental damaging spell. But in this game, all it does is cast instant death on the party, and it has a low chance of actually working. So she's kind of not really that threatening in this version. Final Fantasy III, on the other hand, is much worse, because float didn't exist at that point in time, so if you don't have a Dragoon to jump over it, you're screwed! Control B was reset, right? Oh, right, I can't do that when OBS is open. Hold up. There we go. Okay. Next boss. Yeah, these bosses aren't that difficult, unfortunately. It's tough to make them difficult when... Oop, not that way. When they're really intended for earlier in the game. Is it this way? No, not quite. Maybe it's this way. But I know top left and top right are the two that I'm looking for now, and the top left, I believe, is not the one with the treasure chest, right? If I see a treasure chest, I'm going out. Okay. So the one with the treasure chest is the one I want to fight last. But this is not that one. So Echidna had a very deep, manly voice for a woman, so we're going to give Two-Headed Dragon a very girly voice, just to balance things out. In me are all great things great and small extinguished. Die now, warriors of light. That wasn't really womanly at all. Whoops. Oh well. Same as always, haste, temper, saber. Do something with the white mage other than, you know, that. The thing about the two-headed dragon is that it's not that huge of a threat to most parties, in that its only real thing that it does is it hits really freaking hard in Final Fantasy III, and since it has two heads, it takes 2 turns in Final Fantasy III. So it can do about, roughly with the armor that you have at that point in the game, it can do roughly about 5,000 damage a turn. It's almost instant death for a single character if you don't have somebody like a Viking to double block them or something like that, but yes, they did. Yes, they did go all out with some of the enemy names. It's kind of crazy. I like it, though. I appreciate all of the effort that they put in to make sure that the game is as close to the way that it was supposed to be, I guess, in the original Japanese as possible. That's pretty cool. Don't be afraid to use your attack items, well, not attack items, but your items that can cast like Invisora and that sort of stuff with somebody who doesn't have magic, though, because stuff like the White Robe where it casts Invisora, that just adds a flat bonus to your evasiveness. So even if you do it with somebody who has very low intelligence like Sid, it'll still add that flat bonus, so you don't have to worry about it being a big deal. Offensive magic stuff is less of a thing, but yeah, I mean, we've got 2 stacks of Protera, and he's still doing 50 damage to us. That's pretty impressive, I think. It should give you an idea of what he's capable of at more full power, like when you're supposed to fight him, but unfortunately, because of how this game works, I usually don't do the bonus dungeons until the very end, and by that point, well, this happens. They just melt in front of all of my DPS. So sad but true. Sorry, Two-Headed Dragon. And he gives us a Bard's Tunic, which is an exclusive piece of equipment there. I believe you can equip that to the Red Mages, mostly. It's a pretty good piece. I mean, it's nothing compared to the Diamond Armlet that we've already got, but if you do this, like I said, when you're supposed to, it's a pretty good piece of armor to have around for the mid-game there. Control B. And this. Okay, on to the last boss of the Earthgift Shrine, and then we can head out to Hellfire Chasm. The real question is, do I remember where Hellfire Chasm actually is? And the answer is... maybe? Perhaps? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I think it... No, you know what? I do remember where it is. It's on the islands where Bahamut is. So that's where we'll go, or Bahamut, depending on how you say it. Just don't say Bahamut, because that's a completely different enemy.
There are none who can stop me in all of creation. You too shall fall before me.
It's actually halfway decent Transylvanian accent. So this is the last of the 4 bosses from Final Fantasy III, the Ari Man, and he's probably the most dangerous, which is probably why they hid the treasure chest behind him in the boss room here. He's still a fairly large pushover, though, considering the fact that we're at such high levels. I think he can use all of the elements to his advantage, so maybe we'll use like Null Shock or something to mitigate that a little bit. We don't need it, but we'll use it anyway, just to be sure. Because I think he can use like Ice Storm, Blaze, Thunderbolt, and obviously his physical attacks to fight you, but yeah, nothing too bad to worry about. We've still got enough HP. Let's just get the Nulls going. And then maybe we'll be able to fully buff up all 3 of our quote-unquote melee characters, because Russo can help out with his Sun Sword there. Sunblade. And get moving. We don't have a stack of Protera yet, though, so maybe I should cast that first before I do that. So we can start casting and spamming Healaga, because I'm a scrub at Final Fantasy I. Well, actually, some people would say that I was a scrub at Final Fantasy I because I'm using a monk, so... Depends on where you go on the internet, really. That's the other thing with Ari Man, is that Echidna's big thing was that she could use Earthquake because she's attached to the wall, right? So you'd think that they wouldn't snipe that with another one of the bosses, but it turns out Ari Man can just do everything that the other bosses can do, just better, except for the case of hitting really, really hard, because the Two-Headed Dragon just does that so much better than he does. So he's a jack of all trades, the Ari Man, but he's a master of none, and that's going to be his downfall. See ya! Wouldn't want to be ya. Okay, and that's the entirety of Earthgift Shrine, without having to do the entirety of Earthgift Shrine. You're welcome. And I'll say that to myself as well, because now I don't have to go through the whole thing all the way through. But for defeating the Ari Man out of all the 4 bosses, you obtain a Mega Elixir, which was not present in Final Fantasy 1, but it does what it does in every other one. It fully restores the entire party's HP and MP. We're going to save that for a very important boss fight that we will not be getting to for a little while here yet. But yeah, it teleports you to the center room because you can't get out, and then you can return to the surface here. If you say no, you can't get out of the room. There's no invisible walls or anything to get you out of the room, unfortunately. So, we'll leave, and we'll keep Ari Man in our bestiary there. And out we are. Here we are outside again. So, let's see. Hellfire Chasm is next, and that is up here-ish. We could go rest, but I don't want to rest at Onrak because we have to kind of walk in order to get to the resting area. So instead of doing that, let's go to Gaia again, because that seems to be our generally where we stop off when we need to rest from now on. Partially because it's so easy to get into Gaia. You literally just park the airship next to it, and there you are. So, did we use any items in there? No, if anything, we gained items while we were in there. I could sell off the excess while I'm here, maybe. Those are magic shops. The inn is over here. And then I could go to the item shop or something. And I'm not even concerned at this point with how much money it costs to stay, because we're never going to not have the cap in money unless we stay at an inn anyway, so it's like a big deal. 500 gil, no problem, man. I'll pay for 3 1/3 tents any day to stay at an inn and fully rest up. I don't know, how much are cottages anyways? Is the cost of the inn at Gaia like a cottage basically? Or, I don't know. 2,000. Okay, so it's 1/4 of a cottage, so we got a deal there. Sell off these potions that I don't need. Got enough dry ethers probably to last through the rest of the game. We don't need these antidotes either. I don't need this spider silk or this red fang or this blue curtain or this vampire fang. I don't need this protect drink or that speed drink. And is that it? I could sell these 2 power staves because they're not going to do me any good. Yeah, that's it. Okay. We're ready to go into Hellfire Chasm. We'll see how long that takes. I'm anticipating about an hour and a half of playing in order to get through that. But we'll see. It's not like I have any place to go today. Tomorrow and Wednesday are the major work days for me, so... Is it this one? Oops, hold on. Here we go. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so here's Hellfire Chasm. You can get in once you beat Marilith, but I have found... Yeah, this game proves the Earth is flat. Oh, God. They didn't have Mode 7 yet? There's your proof, non-believers. I'm going to find maps for Hellfire Chasm's more difficult floors because we're going to have some difficulty, I think. So just give me a moment on my phone to go search it. Casually cheating at the playthrough, you know how it goes. Let's see here. I don't need that. That's fine. Or that, or that, or that, or that, or that, or that. That's cool. I might not need the dungeon maps for this one because most of them are kind of alright. I could do this though. Hold on. There's one particular puzzle map in the Hellfire Chasm that I actually like a lot. I'll explain it once we get to it, but not quite yet. I don't want to spoil the surprise when we get there. Oh, does this just have all of the bonus dungeon maps in it? It might. Hold on. Oh, that's an old website, so they must have lost the maps for it. I'm just going to keep that there, just in case. Okay, so let's save outside of Hellfire Chasm with our new loot in tow. We didn't gain a single level through that one either. How close are we? Oh, not even close. Okay, well, rip. Inside we go. Okay, so there's a bunch of volcano maps here, too. Now, if I remember right, the volcanoes in here are different because you take constant damage while standing on them. I'm not 100% sure. We can test that. Okay, so not on this floor anyway, it looks like. Maybe on different floors, but there is one floor in here that's particularly nasty because you can take damage on more than, like, basically if you're standing around in one spot and waiting for something to move, say like a bat or something, you're going to take constant damage on that spot. And you can also encounter enemies while on the lava, which is no good, and that's not normally what happens. You normally can't encounter enemies on lava, but in here, on one of those floors, it happens, and it's a little on the aggravating side sometimes. We'll stick to the black robe there because Blizzara is probably the way to go in terms of enemy weaknesses around here. I don't think we'll need any of these items. Now I gotta remember which way I actually went. I know I came from the left, so I could just keep going to the right and probably be fine. Unless the way to the right is also a dead end, in which case we might be wandering around here for a little while. Yeah, who decided lava was a good idea in video games? I do appreciate the way that Final Fantasy IV did it, though, because they, I think if I remember right, Final Fantasy IV had you go through one dungeon without the float spell. Just to say, hey, this dungeon sucks. You're going through lava the whole time. It's really annoying to go through. And then they were like, you want us to throw you a bone? Okay, here, have a float spell that lets you just float over all of it. I just went in a big circle, didn't I? Well, we know it goes down that way now. That means we can go this way. And then they gave you the float spell after that, and they were like, here you go. Now you're good for the rest of the game. Just remember to cast this on every floor. And then it was fine. This game, though, not so much. They don't have the float spell in this game. You can't float over earthquakes in this one. You gotta have death protection instead. I don't know how a ring prevents you from falling down a giant fissure in the ground. You got me on that one, but, aha, here we go. But it does. Take my word for it. Trust me, I've floated over earthquakes using rings before in this game. Obviously not in real life. That would be silly. But it happens. And what do we have here? Oh, is this another one of those maze-like things, like they're emulating Mount Gog? Okay, I'll take your challenge. Because the enemies here for now are not too terrifying. We can deal with them. I think it's the enemies on the 6th floor and beyond, because on the 5th floor is where you get your first choice of bosses here in the chasm. But from there, it gets a little bit trickier. If I remember right. I could be wrong. I also don't remember if you actually have to go this way in order to find the stairs or not, but it's possible. So we might as well meander our way around, get lost a little, while I can still spam the X button and get done with battles just as efficiently as I would otherwise. I'm gonna get way too many potions out of all of this. We're gonna go this way. There's probably treasure in the middle of the maze there, but I don't need it. What I do need is for these lizards to die! That's resistant damage. I should look up what these things are weak to. Because they're probably weak to something that I'm not using. Matter of fact, let's have a look. Here we go. Cadopal Paws can drop remedies, that's cool. Oh, they're resistant to most elements. Okay, so that explains it. Cool. They're weak to the X button. Yes, yes they are, Frank. You are correct about that. The X button solves all of my problems because, well, without it, what am I gonna do? Press the circle button? That's all that happens when I press the circle button. I can't win without the X button. Okay. Ah, here we go. Here's a door. It's the wrong door, though! Okay. Well, I guess we gotta go exploring around inside of there, because probably one of the exits to this maze is the exit that we need to take in order to get out of here. So, let's see if we can find it. Maybe get a little healing done while we're at it, just so we're not, so we're topped off there. I prefer having full HP. It's, not like these enemies are gonna knock me straight down to 0 health from 805, but, you know, it just looks nicer. Nice and clean that way. Okay, well, it's not that way. This way leads to treasure, so it's not this way either. Echo grass. I came all this way for weed. Better be some good weed, man. Well, it'd have to be good weed, wouldn't it? It talks to you, it makes echoes, so... That's some hallucinogen stuff. I think the heat from this volcano is getting to my brain. I'm just being silly right now for no apparent reason. I would say I wonder what my dog is barking at, but I think I know. He's barking at the cold. Because he enjoys philosophical discussions of abstract concepts that a dog brain wouldn't normally be able to comprehend. No, it's just because he's cold. But he has to do his business, so he has to stay outside for a little bit. Okay, treasure. Well, X potion's okay, I guess. If we find the stairs, though, I'm just taking them. I don't really care if there's extra loot anywhere. We can get a staff in the bonus dungeons that lets us cast a little bit better of a spell than these level 2 elemental spells, but I don't think that's until Lifespring Grotto, so... Ooh, a remedy, nice. But once we get there, we'll be in better shape. Okay, so it's not that one. It's not this one. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be here. Let's have a look at the maps. Okay, so... No. So you do have to go through the maze to find the exit. And I think I passed up the exit. Okay. So let's go back. That's the entrance right there. So the exit's like right over, not here, but like if I go over here, right there. So that's what we're looking for. Not this way. I believe it's this way, maybe, or maybe I just came from here. So I got to get over that way a little bit more. Let me look at the map real quick. Hold up. So from where I am, you go up and around. Oh, that looks like from where I'm at now. Okay, I guess we'll go back. Hold on a moment. Let me gather my bearings and kill these goblins. go back. For all the goblins we kill, they're gonna turn into the dark variants of the enemies that we've got here. How would that even work? Dark black goblins? That's super racist. Good lord, man. Oh, this is the map. Okay. So this is the map that the map dude that I'm looking at here says is super freaking aggravating. Because it is a ruined shrine. You start in the middle. There's treasure chests in various parts. The exit is in the top right. The tiles out here are quote-unquote lava tiles, but they hurt you constantly, like that. And there's millions of gazillions of bats here to go run around in. There's treasure to go get, but I'm afraid of being blocked off by bats, so instead of getting the treasure, we're just gonna go for the exit, I think. Thankfully, the HP tick isn't as bad here. It goes down not as quickly as it does in other places. Okay, so we got a new enemy, Silver Dragon. I don't know what he'd be weak to. I think this is the right way to go. Short-term memory lost, man. It sucks. Yes, this way, and then just basically up and to the right, with up being a priority. If you're going for the treasures, I'm sure this would be a little more challenging, but I have learned in my old man experience that going for the treasures sometimes is not exactly a good idea if you already have everything you need in order to win. So it's the reason why sometimes when I get to the end of games, I'm just like, okay, let's just get this over with rather than playing the DLCs. Yes, they are. They're weak to being punched in the face. They're also weak to being... Actually, I don't know what else they're weak to. But everything's weak to being punched in the face, as Sid has proven time and time again. Also, is that Sentai Sage? Yeah. Sentai, if I haven't said that you were here before, welcome. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you being here. Sid can punch everything in the face, and he'll be good. Yeah, Frank, apparently this is a racist dungeon, that's all. Ooh, here we go. This is the map that I was talking about. So, one of the maps in Hellfire Chasm actually takes you to a world map. It's a miniature version, but it's a world map all the same. Now, I don't know which one I got. Let's see. Just maliciously abusing the maps at this point, instead of doing what my original plan was. Continental Lakes. Start out on the northeastern shore of a lake near an ocean and a river. That's what this looks like, so. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm getting a good nostalgia kick myself out of all of this. Granted, it's a newer version of an older game, but it's still very nostalgic for me. So, I got version 1. Okay. Version 1 is this one, maybe? No, that doesn't look like me. Version 2. Aha, here we go. So basically what you need to do in order to finish this level out, you need to find an airship in order to get to the exit. Now, do I have my canoe? I still do have my canoe. Okay, cool. And in order to get to the airship, more often than not, you also have to find a regular ship in order to sail to it. So let's go find the ship, then we'll find the airship, and then we'll get out of here. So. And of course we've got this new enemy, Gigas. It's dead. That is all. That is all she wrote. It's all she wrote for most of the enemies in here, but you know that already. We don't need to dwell on that. Let's just move on to viciously murdering these goblins. Oh boy. Did we leveled up? Yes, we did. I didn't even. I was going through the level up so automatic pilot like that it didn't. I didn't even register it in my brain. Yellow ogres. Oh my god, this dungeon's getting more racist by the minute. And we just need, like, I don't know. Well, I guess I was gonna say red something, but we already have a red wizard and a white wizard, so we already have those two races accounted for. Oh my god. Yeah, that's my face right now, Frank. That right there is my face right now. Speaking of faces, I'm not a Twitch affiliate yet, but I already have some ideas. Ooh, shit, hang on, I gotta open my phone back up. I already have some ideas for some custom emotes that I can have for when I become an affiliate and I get custom ones. I don't know if I want to spoil them yet, but I already have like 8 or 10 ideas. Some things that are classic quote-unquote hits from my channel's history, some things that are just stupid memes that I like, and some other things that are like other already existing Twitch emotes, but exist primarily within my own nuclear family / my immediate circle. So, like, for example, there's the one emote that's of that one dog. I think is it called Frank or Z? I don't remember if that's what the dog's name is, but there's that one dog emote. And my idea would be to have my own dog emotes because I have 2 dogs. One of the small dog and one of the large dog. I'd have to make these emotes, and I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm sure I can cobble something together and paint on that. I don't think it'll be that difficult. And then, of course, we also have to have one of my brother's pet leopard gecko. That's also a thing, so we'll do that too. Okay, so here's the ship. I totally cheated, like I said, because I looked at the map to see where it was. We could have gone wandering around the world map for a little while to find it, but... And I believe there's new enemies in the water as well. So there's enemies that you can fight on land that are new, although I think you can encounter most of those in other parts of this dungeon. And I think the enemies out here are only encounterable here as well. So... Now the real question is, where is the... There should be a dock somewhere. Okay, here we go. And there's a pirate here. Hello there. You look an awful lot familiar. Yeah, I just looked at it and I said, okay, well, what can I add to my emotes? And there was like 5 of the emotes, I think, are from my channel's history, like stupid stuff that I've done. You can probably go and find them if you looked back hard enough in the history, but I'm not gonna tell people to specifically do that. So it'll be interesting and it'll be a surprise if once I get to affiliate status. I'm trying to think of ones that I could give to you there, Frank, so that I can give you some ideas. I thought of making like a Frank Kappa, a Frank version of the Kappa emote. I think that'd be pretty awesome, but we would need to have you take a picture of your face and then contort it so that it's in the Kappa face image. That's my idea, by the way. If you want to use that, go ahead. If you take the picture, somebody I'm sure will make it. But that's my suggestion and idea. Anyway, this pirate's name is Tool, and he's going to tell us, I think, how to get to the airship. So we need to go to the oasis in the desert. Okay. Well, I have a levy stone, so maybe I can do that. Yeah, we need to take a picture of you now, Frank, so that we can get you a Frank Kappa emote there. Where in the holy high hell am I going now? Okay, so apparently there's a treasure chest sometimes on Tool's world map area on this island, but then I need to go south and get to the only other dock in the area. And then we'll be able to get out of here. So that's good. And once we're out of here, it should be fairly smooth sailing for the rest of the dungeon, because I think this is the hardest, not the hardest, but the map that takes the longest out of all of them in Hellfire Chasm, so Okay, I can kind of see them on my thing. I'll have to look at your I'll have to look at your chat when you're streaming the one time and look at the custom emotes a little bit better because I'm looking at this through OBS, so the box is a little bit small for me. But I'll look at them. I'll look at them again. I can see the one that's basically your Twitter avatar there, and that's pretty cool. We'll think of some other ones there, Frank. We'll think of some other ones. Okay, so I think there's another dock. Yeah, here we go. Down here. And then it's just a short-ish walk to the desert so that we can go and use our current levy stone that we apparently took out of the airship. I don't know why you do that, but maybe just so that nobody else takes it. Actually, that's kind of smart. Use it like a key. Anyway, yeah, we took our levy stone with us so we can raise another airship on this level and go from there. I never thought an ogre would be running away from me, but I guess that's my life now. I'm just too strong. Sorry for using strong out loud rather than in text. It's probably like cancer, basically. So if we go west here, we'll be back towards our starting position, and if we go east, we'll reach the desert. So that's where we'll go. Oh my God, Frank. Apparently, this is Final Fantasy the Racist Edition. We're just being racist all the way through this one because the dungeon is making us so. Oh my God. Well, we're never gonna escape from the Black Goblins. They're in every one of the bonus dungeons except for the Labyrinth of Time, I think. So, yeah, that's gonna be. We're gonna be racist about them for the whole time. But other than that, hopefully we'll get away from all these race connotations here as we go further. I mean, I understand why the monster names are this, because they're classifications, sure, but that doesn't excuse the connotations of those classifications that they have there. Yeah, it turns your kids racist. This will be like that Dead Space 2 campaign that EA did, where they had like conservative mothers sit down in front of footage of Dead Space 2 and just they filmed their reactions to it. And it was and it's terrible that I'm saying this because they were like flipping their shit and like, if I ever see a child playing this, I'm gonna rip the controller out of their hands because it's going to turn their brains to mush and turn people into criminals and blah blah blah. But they were just overreacting so much and it was hilarious. Like, maybe I was a different person back then. I don't remember. That was like 2010, I think? So, a while ago. Or maybe 2011. I don't know. Point is, it was a long time ago and I was a different person. I'm going the wrong way. I need to go up and around where that mountain range is. Not a whole lot of variety in these monsters just yet. Kinda hoping that they start varying it up a little bit soon because I got a bestiary to not fill. Oh shit. I went the wrong way anyway. There we go. It's Dark Elemental. Yes, it is. Actually, that hit pretty hard. I'm never getting away from this, am I? I think they're in all of the bonus dungeons too. We just didn't encounter them in the Earth Gift Shrine. Oh boy. Well, anyway, let's try to escape as quickly as we can here, because the desert is very close at this point. So we'll just mash our way through this guy. And then we'll get to our first bosses, because like I said, this is basement 4th floor, so... there should be a tree. Here we go. So we go to the tree, and press the X button, and we can use our levy stone to raise another airship. Let's do it! Sid, we might need your airship expertise for this one. Since you tinkered with our airship that we had in real, actual, not inside of this bonus dungeon here. So what were our roles we had? Russo was the pilot of the airship. Sid was the tinkerer. He did like the repairs and made sure everything was nominal in the systems and stuff. Moira was the keeper of our items in our absolute storage space. Take that for what you will. If you know what the abbreviation for absolute storage space is, you know what I'm talking about. And Norn was Moira was our keeper of the absolute storage space, and Norn was our cook. So there we go. That's a little bit of extra character for them. They parked it on a desert again, man. You can't do that. Look, it doesn't let me land where I was just parked. Don't make no damn sense. Here we go. So then we just take the airship over here, and we're out. And that's the end of Hellfire Chasm's first 4 floors. Now we've just got to take care of a boss here. And I don't remember who's where. It doesn't matter which one I fight, to be honest with you. Because on this floor, I don't think any of the bosses are guarding an item. No, they are not. It's on the 10th floor where things get a little more interesting. There's one north and one south. So we will go to the north one first. Just a second. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna have to run through lava in order to get through here, but there are no enemies. So, what did I say? The north one first? God! Short-term memory loss, please. Okay, so we'll save right out here, and then once we fight and defeat this one, we will come back and fight the other one. Although, really, you probably know how this fight's going to go already, so... it's going to go the same way every other fight has gone thus far, in that I'm going to beat them up with physical attack buffs and spamming Healaga. Which one is this one again? Hold on. Let me look. Ah, here we go. Okay, I know who this is, and I have to use the Lich's voice again, so that's going to destroy my throat.
Oh, what a treat. What a treat to be the one to send you to your graves. Perish, knowing that it was Scarmiglion who fed your corpses to the earth.
Be honest with you, I don't like the Final Fantasy IV remix here as much. It's good, but the original was already really good, so I'm about this one. Still good, though. Then again, I'm spoiled for Battle Against the Four Fiends from Final Fantasy IV because it was not only in Final Fantasy IV, it was also in Super Mario RPG, so I've had a lot of exposure to the song over the years, so I know what I like and what I don't about it. But same strategy as always. Just get all the buffs going on Sid, get him punching things, get Protera and Invisera on everybody. I could cast Null Shock, but That actually does surprising amounts of damage, his regular Thunder Spell, but we should be fine. Use the White Robe, and spam Healaga. For this part, I'm not too concerned, so... maybe for the later bosses in Hellfire Chasm, we'll have reason to be concerned, but... yeah, not quite yet. Ow. Okay, you've made your point. I'll cast Null Shock. There we go. And he should be out of commission fairly shortly here. Now that we're all buffed up. But that's usually how the story goes, isn't it? See ya, Scarmiglione. You weren't shit. He was just about as easy as the guys from Earthgift Shrine. Or was he?
You've given me a fine death. Indeed, you have. And only in death can you know the true terror of Scarmiglione.
And now you fight him at his full power. So I hope you didn't think that that was it, because it's not. It's not even close to over yet. But same thing as before. We'll get Sid all buffed up there. Hopefully he doesn't do too much damage to us here. I'm just going to use Healaga. We could use Null Shock again, because I believe he still uses Thunder in this version. But if we have to, we'll use it on a different turn, because right now I need to heal to make sure he doesn't do anything crazy. Of course, he's got poison gas, so... Yeah, his arm is busted. His arm is totally broken. Maybe from us hitting him too hard. Yes, it is, Cole. It is Nemesis's uglier brother. Thank you for joining me, younger brother. How are you? I think just using... Oh, wait. We don't want Sid to attack. We want him to use White Robe there. And I think just using Healaga is fine, to be honest with you. Of course, Norn is getting taken for a ride there because her HP, even with Healaga, isn't exactly the best. Well, oh, Jesus Christ, that did a lot of damage. Okay, I guess we'll use full life on the next one. I don't want to handle this. Why don't you Kiraga Sid? Sid, why don't you smack him around a little bit, and then we'll full life Norn there just to get her back up. And we should be okay for a little while here. As long as we get Norn up and we keep her in good healing spirits, we should be fine. Stop using poison gas! I don't want Norn to die here. That would suck. Try to get haste, and I'm going to use Kiraga on you. We'll get Temper up a different turn. And then use Healaga. I don't know if that's going to put Norn up over the edge, though, to avoid poison gas. Well, this will. Is he just going to use that every turn? That kind of sucks. Hi, Pyrax. Hello. Oh, that's okay, man. Thanks for stopping by while you were here. I streamed a little bit late today, later than usual. Normally I stream at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, depending on the time of the year. So a lot of the times I try to include Europe so that they can be in there for later nights, but sometimes it doesn't really work. Today I had to stream an hour later than I usually do, because of the fact that I had a few things that I had to do out in real life stuff, so... Yeah, it's tough on weekdays because there's, you know, I usually have work on weekdays. So I try to do it when I can, but I mean, at the earliest, most people in Europe, when I start, it's like 10 o'clock at night when I start, so it makes things difficult. So I apologize for that. Sundays it's easier because I can stream at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for me, which is like 6 or 7 for Europe. So it's a little better then, but. Yeah, sorry, it's difficult. Time zones make everything difficult, unfortunately, but hopefully you guys can... Yeah, that's the problem. Like I said on Twitter, Frank, is that a lot of the time when you stream, I'm at work, so... If we were all in the same time zone, it'd be fine, but... I don't know. Would that really... A world without time zones, would that work? I'd have to think about that one for a little while, because I'm not sure if it would work. Anyway, let's reset so that we can go after the other enemy there, who, as I recall, is significantly easier because he doesn't spam poison gas every turn. Anyway. He's down here. Oops. Which way? This way? Not this way. Damn it, you tricked me! Okay, there we go. And here's the other boss that you can fight here. He is, basically... I kind of mentioned it before this, but the enemies that you fight in Hellfire Chasm are the 4 fiends from Final Fantasy IV. And you fight the first 2 that you fight in the game on this floor, and then you fight the other 2 that you fight later in the game on the 10th floor. So we'll get to that eventually, but not quite yet. Anyway, we have to fight this guy first, so let's do that. Oops. There we go.
You're just in time, my little playmates. I get so lonely here. Won't you keep me company?
And now we have to fight Cognazo, the water fiend from Final Fantasy IV. Thankfully, in this version, he doesn't have a phase where he puts a tsunami around himself, and then whenever you attack him with that, he counters you with some crazy AoE. I think it's like... I don't remember if he's the one that uses Tidal Wave or if he uses, like, Thundaga or something like that. I know he can use Blizzard spells, I think. So we're going to cast Null Frost, so... Yeah, there's Tsunami. You probably did fight him in the GBA version. Oh my god! Yeah, you probably did fight him in the GBA version. He's... is he challenging? He's fairly challenging. I won't say he's incredibly so, but I'm gonna need a Healaga here because I just took entirely too much damage from that tsunami. So hopefully he doesn't do it again. That would suck. White Robe, and then spam Healaga. And hopefully we get it in time because Norn might not survive another tsunami. Okay, here we go. Yeah, really. He's kind of memorable, I think. You wouldn't forget him if you fought him in Final Fantasy IV either, because he's, well, these are spoilers for enemies that you'll fight in that game, but it doesn't give you the context of why you'll be fighting them in those games, so we won't spoil why you fight him in Final Fantasy IV, but suffice to say, he's a bit of an asshole when he's in Final Fantasy IV. We'll get to that eventually, too. That's going to be a long project, because Final Fantasy IV... I have the PSP version of it. So the PSP version, what it does is it adds 2 new versions of it to the game. It adds, or not 2 new versions, but 2 games are included in the PSP version of Final Fantasy IV. There's the regular game, there's the interlude, which is a short interjection between the regular game and the 3rd game in the series, and then there's the After Years, which is an entirely new story that originally came out on mobile phones that you can put on... that basically you get all of the episodes that came out of the mobile phones in one package if you get the PSP version. So we'll get to that eventually too. That's like I said, gonna be a long project because it's 3 games in one, and like Final Fantasy IV is 25 hours long. The interlude is like 3 or 4 hours long, maybe, I think, and the After Years is like 40 hours, including all the bonus content. So it's that project is gonna take a few weeks, I think. But anyway, we beat Cognazo. We got a light curtain out of him, which I believe casts Null All. Yeah, so you can cast Null All on somebody without having to use the MP for it. Probably use that with Norn, since she seems to get her ass kicked pretty badly by AoE attacks. But for now, let's move on with the dungeon. Nope. So there's 2 things you can do here. You can either return to the surface using this, or you can continue with the dungeon if you're still healthy enough to do so. We are, so that's what I'm going to do. I didn't need to use Heal Aura there, but I could have used Cure or Cure Up, but that's okay. I think we'll Ether Up, just so that we're close to max here. Mostly it's Moira's MP. I don't anticipate her going dry of MP by the end of this, but might as well just avoid that altogether. I don't remember this one. Is this the one with the sparkly floor? Maybe. Let's see here. Because there's a bunch of volcano ones. We've only seen 2 of those, I think. Then we did the ruined shrine already. This is the patrol one, right? Where the NPCs go all over the place. Where do we start? Or maybe it's not, because the starting area isn't on here. Well, let's have a look around first. See what we can find here. Uh-oh. Or rather, not uh-oh, because the enemies here aren't really worth me saying uh-oh about. Okay, we'll do that. Is this that one? Let's look. We did Ruined Shrine already. We haven't done that one, or that one, or that one. We did the world map one. It's just those bosses. So this has got to be the patrols one. We haven't seen any NPCs, and the layout doesn't look familiar. Oh well. We'll just keep going in one direction until we hit a dead end, and then we'll go the other way instead. If I start seeing people, then I'll know that we've found the patrols area. Well, here's a treasure chest. I wasn't expecting to see this before in person, but okay. And this is a dead end, right? Yeah. Okay, so we gotta go back. Go to the left instead of to the right. I don't know where the hell I am, man, but we'll figure out how to get out of here. It's fine. Well, now that you've all taken your turn before me, let me retaliate real quick. I hope we will be okay in terms of levels and stuff like that for all of the bonus content there. I'm anticipating being around level 60 by the time we're done with Whisperwind Cove, though we might be a little higher than that depending on how much experience we get in Whisperwind Cove. And I'm not grinding at all. I'm just going straight into the Labyrinth of Time, and basically I'm going to fight the strongest version of the PSP super boss that you can fight there. And people have said that you should probably be a pretty high level to fight it, but I'm basically just going to bang my head against a brick wall until it falls over. I might get really, really bloody and have to try it multiple times in order for it to work, but that's the game plan here. Plus, like I said previously, if you stack enough Invisiras and Proteras and stuff like that, and I mean, even if I have to, we'll even just resort to using Link with the Defender with all of my characters, like one at a time. And if we do that, I'm sure we'll be okay. You get diminishing returns on Protera and Invisira and all that as you stack them more multiplicatively. But, yeah, we should still be able to deal with all of that. This is the only part about the GBA and PSP versions of this game that I'm kind of like, I'm not so sure about. I wish that the encounter rates in the bonus dungeons wasn't as high, because primarily the reason why I've used maps in most cases when I've been doing this dungeon is because I don't feel like dealing with all of the enemies over and over and over again when they're so easy in most cases, and also trying to navigate the floor. It's like, I mean, I'm just sitting here mashing the X button, you know what I mean? There's no thought involved in the fighting part. The thought comes in when you're... Did I just go in a big old circle? I did. So how am I supposed to... Hold on. Maybe one of the volcano levels is like this, even though it's not actually a volcano. Hold on. Let's see here. it. I'm trying to see if I can find the correct map, but it's not really... No, we can't go this way because that was a dead end. We've established that. Where do I go? Well, we'll figure it out. Just gotta meander around a little bit, and this'll... I said that the world map floor would be the toughest one, but that's obviously not true. Obviously, this one's going to be the toughest one to deal with because I'm not entirely certain I know where I'm going. The other maps I can usually find my way around, but... Okay, so this way... No, that leads to treasure. The other way leads up and around, so maybe there's another path up there. Obviously, I haven't done this map as much as I've done some of the other parts of Final Fantasy 1, because I can... Some of the stuff from Final Fantasy 1 I've played it so many times I can practically recite it from memory. It's ridiculous, but this stuff, not so much. Maybe those things aren't dead ends, then. Hold on. Because part of the floor I can walk over there, and some of it I can't. Some of those rocks are walkable, some of them are not. So maybe I can get past it. Let's see. No. Ah, okay. Well, that makes a little more sense. I was gonna say, how the hell? Here we go. Well, that was easy. So we've got the patrol's floor is still left, I think, and then there's 2 more volcano levels to deal with, including this one. So, let's just have a look around. Like I said before, if I find the stairs, I'm just going to go straight for them. I'm not going to bother looking around and exploring too much. Maybe this way? No. Gonna need to switch up which, well, I guess I don't have to switch it up that badly for these guys, but... switch back to the black robe. Instead of trying to kill fire with fire rust staff. I should probably heal my party in a minute just in case anybody is superstitious so that Russo doesn't trigger them. With his current HP total. More remedies, nice. Never have to buy those if I keep getting them from people. I'll see if I can heal the next few battles sometime. Nope, not that way. Thankfully, it appears that the lava here behaves just like the lava in Mount Gulg, where if you're on it, you can't get into random encounters, and you'll just take the 1 HP damage per time you walk. Which I can fairly easily deal with. Oops. Yeah, we'll keep with the healing staff there. I think we should be able to get this done in the next... It'll probably go for longer than 20 minutes from now until the end of the dungeon. I might surprise myself by getting through it quicker than that, but I anticipate that it'll go a little longer than that. Oh, here we go. This is the floor that I was talking about. So this floor has a bunch of people patrolling the floor, and they can block your way and make things a little bit difficult to get out. Let me go look at my handy-dandy map for this one, because it shows where I could have started. That's the most important part of getting your bearings, is knowing where you started on the floor. And then from there you can usually make your way from out of here Okay, we are actually fairly close to the entrance, or exit, I think. We got pretty lucky with this one. There's treasure off to my left and to my south there. Oh, and in addition to the people walking around, there's also sparkling floors. You might be able to see it on the fringes of my screen right now. If you walk across those, you will get into an enemy encounter. It is 100% guaranteed every step that you take on those. So, instead of doing that, we're just going to go straight this way. And head for the end. Get a couple of encounters here, but other than that, we should be fine. Yeah, it's a pain to go and get all of the items in this dungeon, but since I don't care, we should be fine. Mostly because of the fact that you'll get into a random encounter on every single step of the sparkly tiles there. So instead of dealing with that, let's just get things over with. Pretty much the items that you need in order to get through the rest of the bonus content you receive from the bosses that you fight, so it's not a huge deal. With a couple of small exceptions, the primary exception being there is a town actually in Whisperwind Cove that you can buy some items from that we'll probably buy a few things from. But for the most part, the bosses that we're going to be fighting drop the things that I care about. And most of those things that I care about are in Whisperwind Cove, where we're going to be fighting all of those bosses anyway, so it's not a big deal. That treasure's probably this way. We can go get it. And deal with enemies along the way. But yeah, most of the treasure... the thing about most of the treasure is that it's fairly random. So because it's fairly random, it makes it hard. You can go through the dungeon multiple times, I suppose, if you really want to get everything, but I just find that tedious. So instead of doing that, we're just gonna do what I've been doing instead. More remedies, thank you. And hell, while we're over here, we might even find the stairs. Oh, well, that doesn't lead to where I was hoping it would. Ah, well. Like I said, I'm not particularly looking for the treasures, so... If we get them, we get them. If we don't, we don't. The game pretty much gives you enough stuff from just the vanilla game anyway to beat most of the bonus content, as long as you went and explored everything, so... We already went this way, right? Oh, no, we didn't. This was around the other side. I was gonna say, how do I get that? But I know now. It's right here. And that's mostly what it is it's mostly like stuff that they sell at that caravan, or items that cast spells and that sort of stuff. Most of the time you don't get the good stuff, which is equipment that you want, just from this stuff. So, did I just see the... Oh no, I thought I saw the end down here, but nope. Not quite that easy. And now we went from Russo having HP that triggers people to Moira having lucky HP. Fantastic. I like it. Dead end. Okay. Off we go then. We went up that way, so let's go this way. I'm telling you though, I'm gonna get myself lost in this place eventually. You know what? Let's just... Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna get myself lost in this place because I have no idea where I'm going, so... If I find a treasure chest, I might be able to look at the map a little bit if I start getting super lost, but... It shouldn't take too long to get out of here. We can't get over there yet. So, okay, here's a treasure. It's kind of in an easy spot. So there's an emergency exit. You can get those in the regular game as drops from enemies, but it's pretty rare from what I understand. It basically a cast exit, and it's nice if you don't have it, you know what I mean, for other times. So up. I need to go in kind of a counterclockwise circle here to get to the exit. And I actually got all the treasures on this floor, so good for me, I guess. Okay. So I need to go in a counterclockwise circle to get to the exit, so that's what we'll do. We'll cast Healara, though, while we're sitting here. Get ourselves close to topped off as we can, and then go like this. Generally go this way, and down this way. This gets us around that area, and there's the exit. Sweet. Oh, and we're already here. Okay, cool. I thought we still had the tunnel left to go, but I must have missed the tunnel. We must have been in it already. What do we got here? Floor 10, we have... So we got to go east first at the fork, and then west. So when we reach the fork, I will save it, and then we'll go from there. Where does this lead? Whose is this one? Okay, this is the one that I need to go to first, so we'll save it right about here, and then... Okay, got it. So basically, if I head north, I'll end up where the other person that I need to fight is. I thought that last floor was the basement 8th floor, to be honest with you. So we'll save it here. And we got a couple of bosses to fight now, and then we're good to go. I might end it off after we're done with these 2 bosses. I'm not sure if I'm going to start Lifespring Grotto just yet. We do have to go get the ship, though, to get to Lifespring Grotto, so maybe I'll go do that and get there, and then while I'm there, I'll save it and call it a night. And who are you? I suppose I underestimated you. I didn't think you would make it this far. No matter, Barbaricia's winds shall cut you down. And so we have the third of Final Fantasy IV's 4 Fiends, the Wind Fiend Barbaricia. And she is an Amazon, apparently. Yeah, same strategy as usual. I'm gonna probably cast Null All, though. Let's use that light curtain that we got. On Norn, because she can probably use it for stuff like this. Actually, probably not, because that's a status ailment thing, so not really. But, yeah. This should help with, like, I think she has Cyclone or something like that she can probably use, so that'll make this a little bit easier. Now, Frank, it's not polite to stare. Not that she knows you're staring at all, but, you know. We didn't get a layer of Berterra or Invisora yet, but we're going to get that this time. Yeah, there's Cyclone. Thankfully, I used Null All, so that should make this a little bit easier. Oh my god! Ow. I love the animation for Cyclone. It's fantastic. Of course, that put Norn in a little bit of critical health there. Maybe I should have given her the silver apple so she could live these things a little bit better. Well, we're gonna need a Healaga, so let's do that. How about you just haste yourself, and then next turn you temper yourself, and then we'll just spam Healaga until the cows come home. Nope. And maybe Russo can join in on the fun here. I don't think she has that much HP, but we'll see. We'll see once we get moving here. I also like how Healaga is, even though it's like way too good for this game because it just gives you, like, basically it heals off most AoEs, but it doesn't quite heal them off all the way. it gives you most of your HP back, but not all of it, unless your intelligence is like super freaking high. So if you keep yourself at a relatively low level, it balances itself out because most enemies will inflict more damage with their AoE attacks than you can heal back. So you kind of have to eventually make an exception and have somebody else use a potion or a healing spell of their own in order to keep yourself alive. So I appreciate that fact. Uh-oh. We're going for a wild ride again. Oh boy. And Cyclone is non-elemental, so there's nothing you can cast that makes it deal less damage. It's just a matter of having enough resistance equipment to resist it, as it were. But unfortunately, Russo can't join in on the fun just yet. He'll eventually get a chance to when the bosses start having more HP. And for defeating Barbaricia, we get the Braveheart, which I don't remember if it's exclusive or what. Where'd it go? Oh, there, it's down there. There it is. Hang on. It is Ninja. It can be used by Ninja and it casts Confuse. I think it also has some stat bonuses to it. Let me see. Maybe. I can't see it from here, but some of the items that you get here in the bonus dungeon give you stat bonuses. So it's probably pretty nice. I'm not going to use it myself because we're going to reset. And we're going to get an item that's better than the Braveheart because it's not something that's exclusive, and it's something that one of our party members is missing out on pretty badly. Okay, so Barbaricia is down there. So that means up here, somewhere, is the boss that I'd like to fight. Perhaps the true master of Hellfire Chasm. Because if you've been counting, we fought a fiend of water, a fiend of wind, technically a fiend of earth, although Scarmiglion is more like a fiend of decay, which makes sense because the earth is decaying in this version. So there's only one fiend element left, and we've been standing in it for most of this dungeon, so here we are. Yeah, I think we'll wait there. Yes, that is very technically sound of Barbaricia. I appreciate her dexterity to be able to manipulate wind in such a way that we go flying in random directions, but we all land in a straight line. That's pretty impressive. Good shout out. Good pointing that out because I've seen that before, but I probably wouldn't have said anything if you hadn't pointed it out. We're good on HP. We'll be fine.
I am Rubicant. Let us measure your worth, warriors, in the crucible of my flames.
So now we fight the Fiend of Water, Rubicant. No, he's the Fiend of Fire, obviously. And he's the final fiend that we're going to fight here. So, same strategy as always. Temper, Haste, Savor, Spam Healaga. Probably... Oh, I have another Light Curtain? Oh, maybe I thought I used it. Well, whatever. We can use it again. So we'll use Light Curtain to make sure that Norn doesn't get super ripped by stuff like Firaga here, and then we'll be in good shape. Because everybody else has resistance, as you can see, but Norn does not. We're going to fix that momentarily, though. Yes, quite flamboyant. This is where I put the Kappa face, Frank, in reply to your comment, but I can't type right now because I'm playing a video game. Hi. Okay. So now let's get Norn up and running. Sid used the White Robe, and then just spam Healaga because AoEs. Ow! We're gonna need a Protera in a moment as well. But we'll get to that. Oh no, the puns! They're invading my chat! You guys. Y'all crazy. Let's cast Protera here, and Sid go to town with Norn there, and we'll just keep spamming Healaga. Uh-oh, Scorch! That sounds bad. Oh, well, not that bad. Just as long as he doesn't reveal what's under his cloak, we'll be fine. He does in the DS version, and I don't know if he does in the PSP version, because I've never beaten the PSP version all the way, but it's not pretty. Fortunately for us, this version of the game doesn't have that stuff, so we're in better shape than we would be if they did. But we'll just keep hacking away at him until eventually he falls. I'm gonna have Russo join in on the fun here, even though he's not buffed up, just so we can maybe have him do something. Nice! That's not bad damage considering you're not buffed up there, Russo. I probably could cast Blizzaga on. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna, just in case he's weak to it. We'll see. I don't think he's weak to it, though. I think I remember from Final Fantasy IV that he's not weak to Blizzard in any particular element, that is, at all. So, but we'll see. He also has the most HP out of any of the 4 Fiends, as you can plainly see here. He's not going down in 4 or 5 rounds, so yeah, that didn't do anything. We'll get a better setup for Russo eventually, once we get into Whisperwind Cove, maybe? Maybe. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out when we get that far. But you're probably just better off attacking him, to be honest there, Russo. If you think that's going to do something after you've already cast Firaga on us, then you've got another thing coming, Rubicant. Goodbye! And I suppose you could say it in sort of an Italian accent, too, like, how would you say it Italian? I'm Italian, and I don't know how you'd say it Italian. Hold on. It'd be like, Rubicante, or something like that. Like where you roll the R. I don't know if you roll the R properly, but it's like Rubicante, so it sounds like the cant isn't cant, it's canta. That's even worse, never mind. Yes, Russo gets a kill. That's nice. We had ironic staff kills for Moira at one point. Now we've got ironic sunsword kills. We need to get you a better weapon, Russo, but we'll get that eventually here. But I think it's supposed to sound like Canto, is what I was trying to say before I totally negated my point there. I think I just dropped some frames, so sorry if anybody noticed that. It's my OBS just went red and then yellow and then green again, so hopefully it didn't drop too many frames there. But we get the Kikuichi Manji for defeating him. It's nothing compared to the Mass Immune, but it's pretty good. Otherwise, I think it gives a boost to Norn's agility stat, if I remember right. So she's got 34 agility. We equip it, less damage, but oh, well, never mind then. Maybe I'm thinking of a different blade. Oh well. Anyway, and for defeating Rubicant, we get this chest. We get access to this chest, which contains your 4th ribbon. If you didn't have a 4th one, or if you didn't have another method of resisting everything, like the Aegis Shield or that sort of thing in the game, because if you have a warrior, they can equip the Aegis Shield and they just resist everything that way. I think in this version. Maybe not. Maybe the Aegis Shield is only like that in Final Fantasy II. I don't remember, but the point is you get a 4th ribbon, so now we can equip that on Norn. It's less defense, more evasion, so that should be fine for her. But it also, of course, more importantly, makes her resist all elements. So she'll be taking similar damage from AoE attacks now as basically everyone else, and that means we don't have to worry so much about her getting knocked on her ass every time a boss spams an AoE attack. But anyway, we're done. Finished 2 bonus dungeons here today, so that's pretty fantastic. Like I said, I'm going to go and... Ooh, I guess I can only get out from down here. I'm going to go and get myself to Lifespring Grotto. We'll probably rest at Gaia again just to get ourselves all up and ready to go. And then... actually, no. You know what we'll do? We'll go rest at Crescent Lake because that's closer to my ship. That's what we'll do. Yes, progress. I'm anticipating that Lifespring Grotto and Whisperwind Cove will themselves take... probably Lifespring Grotto I can get done in 1 stream, but I think that Whisperwind Cove is going to take 2, to be honest with you. Okay, Frank, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. I will see you maybe in the next one, maybe whenever you get the chance, man. I know you're busy with your exams and everything, so I don't want to force you to do anything when you got all that going on. But yeah, good luck with that stuff, and thanks for coming. I appreciate it. So anyway, let's head over to Crescent Lake. We'll rest up. We'll buy a few items. We'll head over to Lifespring Grotto on our ship, and then we'll call it a day. And we'll go to Lifespring Grotto tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. I'm at work all day tomorrow. I can't go tomorrow. What am I thinking? Thursday. Thursday's the next stream, yes. So doesn't like. And rest up. Yeah, for sure, Frank. I'll catch you whenever I see you the next time. Ugh, excuse me. I don't know where that came from. I'm not even tired today. Got enough sleep. Oh, Jaeger's barking. Oh boy. Wonder what he's barking at. Sentai Sage, thank you for following. I appreciate it. We can get rid of this blue fang and this red curtain. And, those Hermes shoes might be useful. That won't be, though. Maybe what it is that, with the light curtain, when I used it, maybe it's like in Final Fantasy II, where sometimes you get an extra use out of those spell items. So, I don't think I need these tonics. I think I've got enough MP as it is. Actually, I might need the fairy tonics for, I'm going to keep 2 for the bonus bosses there. That's right, I reset, so that's why I reset. Okay, yes, that makes more sense. Thank you. I didn't even think about that. We can get rid of Sasuke's blade. It's good, but it's not the mass immune. We can get rid of the Kiku there. What else? The healing helm. We've got a healing staff. That's all I need for that. Okay, I think we're good. So yeah, we'll keep a couple of those fairy tonics just in case. Like I said, I think I might need it for my mages for the bonus boss for the PSP version. Also, why did I sell all of those things and then buy things so I won't be at the cap? I don't know. I'm not thinking, apparently. I think I need to stop this stream before my brain implodes on itself, because that's apparently what's happening right now. Okay, let's go to the ship. And then we'll head over to Lifespring Grotto. We'll sail into a whirlpool, because that sounds like a fantastic idea. And then we'll call it a night. Do that, and then where's Thor's hammer? There you go. That's something, by the way, that we've seen in this episode that I don't think we've seen in other episodes so far in Final Fantasy 1, is that eventually when you're a high enough level, the enemies will just start running away from you when there's enough disparity between your level and theirs. So, it's nice. It means you don't have to worry about fighting them off too much, and you don't got to worry about tiny amounts of HP being taken off, but yeah, it's alright. Makes things a little easier, I suppose. Especially when it's stuff like this, like, am I really going to have anything to fear from 4 Buccaneers at this point in the game? I'm like level 55, so... But the next bonus dungeon is where we start getting into the good stuff. I think there's some extra new equipment that Norn can equip in there. There's another staff that we can use. I don't know if Moira can use it straight away, but she can definitely use it as an item. And it's probably more powerful than the level 2 elemental spells that we've been using so far. Yeah, we're going to get into the good stuff once we get into Lifespring Grotto. But that, unfortunately, is going to have to be saved for another time. Because it's time for me to call it quits on this stream. I got things to do, not really, and people to see, also not really. I could see my family today. I've already done that, but I'm gonna go see them again. I kind of like my family, so I think it'd be better for me to see them as much as I can. So that's gonna do it for this episode of Final Fantasy: The Stream Edition. Come back next time, and we'll attempt to get through all of Lifespring Grotto. I might start Whisperwind Cove as well, because I anticipated that taking a couple of streams to get through. But if we get through Lifespring Grotto in less than 2 hours, I'm totally going to go through like the first 10 floors of Whisperwind Cove, so that way we can just get done with that bonus dungeon in one other stream. And then we can just tackle the Labyrinth of Time, and then we can fight the final boss in the Labyrinth of Time and the final boss in the actual game. on the final stream, perhaps. But that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate everybody coming out to the chat and everybody watching this on YouTube. I think we had a pretty decent crowd today, so thanks, Frank, for retweeting me. That definitely helped, I'm sure. And thank you, everybody, for coming in. I really appreciate it. I will see all of you on the next stream. Take care. This is good music, too. I like the music here, too. It's fantastic.